In a grand palace surrounded by flowers and fountains, everything seemed perfect except for one thing: a child's laughter. There lived a king and queen who deeply loved one another, yet their palace remained quiet and their hearts felt heavy because they had no child. Often, they would look at the stars at night and whisper silent prayers. Just when hope seemed to fade, a miracle arrived. After many long years of waiting, the queen finally gave birth to a baby girl. The king and queen named her Princess Layla. She had soft, rosy cheeks, gentle, sparkling eyes, and a sweet laugh that echoed through the palace halls. The king and queen loved her so much that they feared she might ever feel sadness. Because they had waited so long for her, they gave her everything her heart desired. If she wanted one dress, 10 dresses were sewn. If she liked a toy, entire rooms were filled with them. Servants fed her, dressed her, brushed her hair, and even picked up objects lying right beside her feet. Because of this, the princess never learned to do anything herself. The king and queen believed love meant giving her comfort. As she grew older, she became lazy and spoiled. She slept late every day, complained about small inconveniences, and ordered servants around without kindness. But she was admired for her beauty. Her hair was absolutely radiant, shining like spun gold beneath the sun. When Princess Layla turned 16, a new personal maid was assigned to her room. Her name was Mia. Mia was kind, humble, and hardworking. She greeted everyone politely and helped the other servants even when she herself was exhausted. What made her truly special was her long, sparkly, silver blue hair. It flowed past her waist like silk and shimmered beautifully beneath the moonlight. The princess noticed immediately. At first, she stared with curiosity. Soon, curiosity became comparison. Then comparison became jealousy.
Her hair shines brighter and looks far more special than mine.
The princess owned every treasure in the kingdom, yet there was one thing she could not have: Mia's beautiful hair. Oils and creams were rubbed into her scalp. Nothing changed. The more she tried, the more she hated her own reflection. Meanwhile, the servants often whispered about Mia's beauty and gentle nature. Even the king and queen were fascinated by her hair. Every compliment felt like a sharp thorn piercing the princess's heart.
Mia, come with me.
One afternoon, jealousy completely consumed the princess. She led Mia into the furthest and darkest chamber of the palace and asked her to sit across from her. Quietly, the princess poured a sweet red drink into a golden goblet. Hidden inside it was a powerful sleeping potion. She gave it to Mia. Mia hesitated, for the princess was rarely gentle, but she obeyed. Feeling she had no choice, Mia slowly drank it. Moments later, her eyes grew heavy and she fell fast asleep. The princess took a pair of scissors. Slowly and carefully, she cut Mia's long, shimmering hair. The next morning, Mia remembered nothing. As she touched her head and felt her short, uneven hair, tears filled her eyes. The princess quickly blamed the other servants for the incident. As punishment, they were forced to work beneath the hot sun. Mia said nothing. She quietly continued her duties, crying softly each day. Unknown to them, The fairy of the kingdom had seen Mia's sorrow and Layla's cruelty. The fairy decided it was time for justice. That same night, while Princess Layla slept peacefully, the fairy entered her room. Morning arrived with a loud scream.
Help! Help!
She ran through the palace hallways screaming in panic, horrified by her appearance.
What happened to my beautiful hair? I look horrible!
At that very moment, Mia's hair began to grow once again, longer, brighter, and even more beautiful than before. The king and queen tried everything to restore their daughter's hair. Doctors, magical potions, expensive oils, yet nothing worked. All the servant maids were punished because no one knew who had done such a terrible thing to the princess's hair. One night, the fairy appeared in Princess Layla's dream. "The curse will only be lifted," the fairy said, "if you confess your wrongdoing." When the princess awoke, she cried first in anger, then in fear, and finally in deep regret. For the very first time, she stepped outside her room without wearing her crown. She apologized to the servants. She apologized to her parents. Then, with trembling hands and a heart filled with guilt, she went to see Mia. She humbly stood before Mia and confessed everything she had done.
This is all my fault. You deserved so much better than this.
Mia looked at her quietly, then gently forgave her. From that day on, Princess Layla began to change. Days later, while working beside Mia in the royal garden, a warm, golden light surrounded the princess. Her hair returned, but the princess never returned to her old ways. Mia was honored with a high position in the royal court, admired by all for her compassion, kindness, and quiet confidence. Princess Layla grew into a kind and humble ruler, leading the kingdom with compassion and wisdom, always remembering the lesson she had learned.